Welcome back to Good Girls Gotta Heal, the podcast where we learn to release the weight of childhood trauma and step into our most authentic selves. It's time to ditch that good girl mask and embrace a life of ease, compassion, and genuine connection. Join me, Megan Walsh, holistic trauma therapist, and let's embark on a journey of healing and self-discovery together. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Good Girls Gotta Heal. I am so thrilled to have you back with me today. We have such an exciting conversation today with Carrie Rose. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Carrie before we welcome her in. So, Carrie Rose is a transformational life and business coach who guides leaders, entrepreneurs, creatives, and change makers through profound inner shifts that create lasting success, fulfillment, and impact. Her work helps clients break free from fear, self-doubt, old limitations so they can step into their true purpose, deepen relationships, and align their businesses and lives with what matters most. Oof, we love that. Through her signature programs, Carrie, she blends deep inner healing with practical, actionable tools, creating rapid and lasting transformation. Clients have launched soul-aligned businesses, strengthened spiritual connection, and built unshakable confidence, and consistently describe their work with Carrie as life-changing. She's known for her warm, grounded approach and fostering a supportive, empowering community where real change takes root. Well, we are with a like-minded soul right now. Carrie, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I am so thrilled to chat with you and to talk about all the things. I love to start a little bit with, kind of who you are and where you have come from. But I just asked a recent guest, tell us about, little Carrie, like who you were growing up and kind of how that shaped where you are today.
Yeah. Oh, that little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in sort of it's so interesting. And I love I just love the premise of your podcast because it's just right on the nose. It's like, it's interesting because I was sort of Pollyanna my whole life that like, I'm in a Brady Bunch type of family, like my stepdad came in with his two daughters and my mom had me and then they came together and had my little brother. And it was like, look at this perfect family. And that's kind of that, look, we all came together in this way and it's so beautiful. And it was like, I was really raised to be in that Pollyanna, like this is how it looks. And it took me a really long time in my healing journey to unwind that, to undo that and go, it was so far from perfect.
Yeah.
And wow, was I trained, as so many of us are, to make it look perfect and make it sound perfect and even believe in my own self that this was perfect, because we need to believe that. And meanwhile, there was sexual abuse happening. There was layers of domestic abuse. A lot was happening under and behind the scenes. And, but it was most important to uphold this perfect image. So so when I think about her, she was confused. She was like, like, wait, how do I mesh these two? How do I blend these two? That like we're the perfect family, but these things are happening. How do I bring these two together? How do I couldn't make sense of it. And so my little mind was always just in a constant cycle of trying to make sense of it and not being able to, and then just kind of like compartmentalizing it. And then, I remember a voice coming in a lot going, you're going to understand this when you're older. And maybe it'll all make sense then, and unfortunately it doesn't all make sense then.
Right. Of course.
You start to, it makes sense in a way that I didn't, because as a little girl, I thought it's all going to make sense that my family is perfect. It's all going to make sense that like, we're fine. And like, this is normal. This is okay behavior. This is normal. And like, it's going to be okay. For some reason, this is the exception, whatever it was. And then as I got older, I realized, how it started to make sense was like, this wasn't perfect and that was wrong. And I had to really come to terms with that in my healing journey. And so many layers of,
Yeah, so many layers of grief, as you said, she was confused, which is I think a phrase I have used in my own, if I were to connect with my younger child, like, oh, she was confused. Like, oh, I just feel so much sadness, right? Of like how you needed that voice to, and I think it's amazing that actually you had this voice come to you to say, like, you'll know it when you're older. Cause like what a resource, right? Actually to hold on to. And like in this way of like beautiful way of your inner child accessing your fully resourced kind of healing adult self.
Yeah.
So beautiful that happened at the time. And I'm so curious because I know so many listening will really resonate with your story. And I so appreciate you sharing it with us.
Yeah.
When did you begin to step into the healing work? When did you begin to say like, okay, I have to take a look. I have to open and really be with this history that I've probably really want to leave behind. But how did you begin to like safely begin to do that work?
Yeah, I would say, we all go through these different levels of it, I think, throughout our whole lives. And I would say for me, it really started to crack open. I've always been sort of on a spiritual journey since I can remember. And it started with, a more religious, way when I was younger, and then upbringing into like, oh, wow, like that's so much different for me, bigger than this. It's bigger than this religion, and really going out and like discovering that. So that's always been such a huge part of my path. The real healing, therapeutic healing, and like really digging into my trauma, and that journey began in my 20s. And it kind of started happening because I was in a relationship that was bringing a lot of it up, so many of us do that. And we started going together to there. And then, but all these things started surfacing that for me were so big. And that's when I opened up to some family members and started to open that door. But my journey is really interesting because in my 20s, when the opening started to happen, and I really felt like I really healed this, like I finally realized this was not my fault. I healed the trauma itself about what happened. And yet I didn't tell my sisters, I didn't tell so much of my family that I thought, I really wanted to. But at that time, it was kind of like, now I told my mom, let's keep this still between us, and everything still can look the same.
Right.
And we can still be this happy family, even though we have like this thing that happened that that some of us know. So it wasn't actually until really the next level of healing happened for me later in life, where I realized half of the healing was about the secret itself. It wasn't about the event. It was about holding it in, and all of that surfaced.
Right.
And so that was just this, like, it felt for me like I finally understood what it meant to take a deep breath. Because I didn't know, because that little girl carried that secret for so long that it was just it was a limb that I didn't know I had grown, that was just a part of life. I didn't even know it was an option to not have that limb. That little girl felt like if she said this out loud, it would destroy my family. And that stayed with me until I could finally uncover it and go, oh my. And it actually just had to happen for me to uncover it. It had to just happen. And for me to start setting those boundaries and realizing I could. And I had that choice. And it was still me going as an adult. And now I am destroying my family and really having to undo the layer of that. Like, this isn't me destroying my family. And how can I hold all of these pieces within myself and love her through this, even though that my worst fear as a child is actually now happening. And the family's being fractured, and all of these layers that, everyone handles it in different ways. And so the layers of healing that we all have to do with any trauma, not just this, any kind of event or trauma, are just so much more than the event. So much bigger than the event itself. So these layers have just been levels of healing over time and over a lifetime of,
And the amount of like courage and bravery to like literally like hold hands with your inner child through it, to say, we're going to be okay, right? We are terrified. We're terrified that this is going to happen, and we're going to be okay because we know now that none of this at any point was our fault. Whatever happens when we speak this truth is still not our fault.
And
right?
you speaking, your family falling apart is not your fault.
No, right?
Like that level of when some people are saying it is, you know, or you might get that feedback.
Right.
And that's, I think, so important for so many survivors of any kind of trauma to understand that you might feel like you're getting that feedback, or you will get that feedback, or you might feel it within yourself. If I say this thing out loud, or if I process this thing out loud, I'm ruining everything. Right. And that's another layer of the healing. Actually, that's another layer of getting to your freedom, is realizing that, no, that's not on you. That is not on you.
Giving it back, right? Giving responsibility back to the adult that was supposed to keep you safe at the time and did it, right? And it's so hard. I'm sure some people are nodding their head to the experience of others, you know, in the family or, you know, in the community, like blaming you, blaming you for speaking your truth. And part of this healing work is understanding that, you know what, we're going to give this back to them too, because people can only meet you as deeply as they met themselves. And they clearly have not met themselves deep enough to understand your need here, right? To understand that you are in need of protection and you are still deserving of accountability, right? And an apology. Like that is, you needed that accountability. And if they weren't going to give it to you willingly or, you know, freely, then you had to give it to yourself by stating your truth.
Absolutely. And the strength it takes to, I think, to let them be where they are sometimes, to go, they don't have the capacity to open to this within themselves, and maybe they never will in this lifetime. How can I still heal within myself? How can I still because we can heal without any of that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's helpful to have it. It's helpful to have it. And you will find the right people to be on that path with you and to support you. If you don't have it from the immediate, people involved.
From the people who are supposed to give it to you.
And, and to just, that's another layer of it, of just this piece of, okay, like they might not be able to. And all the layers that you have to process in that makes me angry, that makes me sad, that makes me, grief. And I can process all of that. I can hold space for myself in all of that. What I'm asking for from them, or needed from them, or needing from them, I can provide.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I can find the safe people, safe supports to be able to give me, the attunement and the mirroring and the validation and the safety that I've always deserved.
Absolutely.
And that is such the beautiful way. And I think the way that so many on healing journeys have done this work, is recognizing and letting go and feeling the grief and the sadness and the anger that of course is so uncomfortable. And we hate that we have to feel it at all. And having those safe, then supportive spaces. And it makes so much sense why you do the work that you do, why you have become a safe source of support and attunement for those that you work with, which is such a beautiful thing. And so tell me about that journey of how your work has paralleled to your healing.
So, and so I did the whole good girl checklist my whole life. I checked off college. I checked off going into the corporate world. I checked off, check. And I'm so grateful for all of that experience. And it was actually motherhood that brought me into really my purpose. It was after I had my first son, realizing that what I was doing, this is not the cure for cancer. I'm having so much anxiety around it, so many things. And it's not because doing that is wrong. It's because it was out of alignment for my soul's path, at that time. And that's what, for me, these things started coming in, and having my son was really what made me go, what's really important for where my energy's going. And that's when I knew it wasn't the corporate, the corporate world in the way I was doing it, in another way, maybe, but not in that way. And so I started to go, what do I love? What is the thing? And since I was a little girl, my mom was like, there was a line out the door for phone calls for people just asking you for advice. to problem solve, whatever it was. You know,
Yeah.
she's like, you've been doing this since you were little. And I also just was looking at my job, like, what do I love to do? I want to get into it with people on what do you want to do in your career or your personal life, or let's solve that problem, or let's create something new, or whatever it was. That's what I loved, whether it was the people I worked for or worked for me or my client, whatever it was. So I just, that's when, when life coaching wasn't really a big thing then. And so we hear about it so much now, but then it wasn't. And so I realized that was the path at that time. And that's what brought me into this. And it was all of the work I had done that, you know, you're just kind of encoded. You're encoded with all the healing you've done. And then I come in and really, you know, I did several different certifications and programs and trainings, and the incredible journey of that for myself as well as for my work, but has been just so beautiful. And then, I just start to see these themes emerge as we do, with people just not feeling connected to themselves and all of the blocks and all of the patterns and all of the things that need to be healed. And then not really feeling connected to what's meaningful for them, like that specific energy that's wanting to come through you as a unique, beautiful light that you are, not trying to fit in with the world and be the good girl that checks the boxes off. But there's something so much bigger, brighter coming through on a soul level that all we need to do, it sounds so simple, is declutter and open to it. But there's so many, you know, our human just gets all up in the way of that. All the protectors come out because,
Because we're trying to stay really, safe. And it can all feel very scary to put yourself out there, to be seen, to say, you know what, this is meant for me. And I want to lean into that, because that safety isn't automatically there. Like, you are the creator of the safety around it, which can be so hard when you haven't done it before. Because again, it's just your nervous system is saying, like, threat. This is a threat. This is not safe.
Danger. Yeah.
And I'm so curious. I know you have incorporated more like spiritual alignment work, and I'm just so curious. Like, tell me more about that and how you have used that to help kind of calm and soothe, you know, these nervous system parts that get so activated.
Yeah. Well, so the spiritual work is really not separate to me from the grounded nervous system work.
Right.
As we do more and more of that work, we're just opening sort of the vessel, the channel within us to the light, to our own essence, which is the light. So when I say spiritual, it can be God, it can be universal life force energy, it can be the divine, whatever that word is, really isn't the important part. It's actually knowing the feeling, the sensation, the understanding, the embodied understanding of what it is when we get to it. And when we do the nervous system work and we're holding space for our little girl, or we're within ourselves, we're loving, meeting her with so much love. That is God. That is the divine. That is essence, light, holding us within ourselves. And it is us. It is not separate. There's no separation. It is running through us at all times. So we have access to that, endless stream. And we just, it's really easy to disconnect from it. And so in the work I do, I have what I call the divine alignment framework. My divine alignment framework really is a really practical, like, here's how life works, from being in victim consciousness to, moving up into really this life is happening through me consciousness, or feeling those feelings of, oh, I am that, like, I am the light. And just giving a framework for that I've developed over all the tools I've gathered over the years of how do we move from being in the drama of life and being in the day-to-day 3D life that does pull us down. And all of us, I don't care what level of light worker you are, I don't care what level of success you are, none of us are immune to this. And of course. So how do we move through it differently? And how do we access our light throughout that and return continuously home. It's not about staying in that state. It's about continuously returning to that place.
Totally.
And how do we learn that skill as we're moving through all of life and create more and more capacity for growth, for shining our light, for being in our own authentic self and truth and expressing that and using our voice, whatever that is we want to do in this world.
Yeah.
How do we continuously return home to that place? And so that's sort of my body of work, is bringing in the nervous system work, the science of the nervous system with the power of, spiritual alignment, that really there's no separation between it, but I really bring it together in this way that, that's like, there's no disconnection between the two.
No,
and
it is.
Yeah.
It is all totally interlinked.
Yeah.
And I love the image of, us doing this deep, what I may call in my work, the inner child reparenting work.
Yeah.
Like that action is this, beautiful, aligned spiritual moment of deep connection.
What is that love that you're feeling in that moment? That's
the feeling.
Source.
Yeah.
That's
it. And I've never thought of it that way. And that's just so powerful.
Yeah. I had someone in one of my groups, someone had asked me to facilitate for her group of women, a day of spirit. Right. So I came in and was so, excited to move through. And I was asking these ladies, what are your spiritual beliefs? And I had, one person that's like a triple PhD in religious studies, like all the way, right? Like, whoa, okay, you're going to probably know more than I do about the basics of this or the,
right.
And then I had someone who said, I actually don't believe in God at all. And I've never had any experience of God. And I'm not really interested in it either. So it was that, I went, wow, okay, this is going to be a day. But it was the moment that you and I just talked about, that you just brought up again, because it is so powerful. When I took them through the experience of the reparenting, of holding that inner child, and that woman that said she didn't believe in God had such a moment within herself, grounded in this world, not feeling like she went anywhere else, like just right here in her heart. And then that's when I said, that's God. That's the divine. That is the source, that when people are talking about it in all these other ways, but this is it. And it was this huge moment for her of, that resonates. That makes sense, actually. Against everything like I've been told or learned or thought, or it's this hierarchy, whatever it is, like, that's it.
It's you.
That's it.
Right. It's you.
It's you.
It's just,
it's love. It's source. It's what's holding all the parts.
The holding. The compassionate, attuned, right? Like loving, accepting, experience
pure
within ourselves.
Acceptance.
Absolutely. It's just such a powerful way to think of it that way, because then it does let down all of the guards that come up when it comes to any sort of relationship to religion that, may have some definite trauma points that I think so many people carry around that in growing up in, religious environments. And so this is a beautiful way to reframe it, that we know we don't have to disconnect fully from our spiritual selves. We can be safely connected.
And it is not outside of us.
Yeah, right.
It is not outside of us. It is not something that exists that we have to outsource in order to get. It is. It is us. It is you. Us. It is in you. It is in me. It is running through all of us. There is no separation. It's just actually remembering.
Yeah. It's the remembering and the reconnecting. Exactly. I'm so curious if someone is listening to this and being like, "Ooh, yeah, this actually connects." What would be like an example of a way that you might support a client to connect to that? Like, do you have any tangible kind of exercises or things that you could share here that anybody could try?
Absolutely. So, I'll give you sort of my shortcut a little bit, because I know you do a lot of the work with reparenting. I'm sure a lot of your audience knows, that. How we see that inner child in her innocence, and how beautiful, just how innocent all the protectors are as well.
Right.
Love on, it's like, love that too, love that too, love that too. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that works really well for me and for my women in my community,
Mm-hmm.
as nothing shortcut. You don't want to,
Yeah.
I don't want to use that word,
Sure.
but just sort of a way in, like a really
a way in.
quick entry point is any issue, any difficult emotion that comes up, any tension, any anxiety, any stress, any fear, any hurt, anything, to hand over heart and go, oh, of course. I'm right here.
Yeah.
I got you. Of course you're feeling this. I've got you. I'm right here.
Yeah.
You can feel this. I hear you.
Yeah.
And then getting curious from there, right?
Yeah.
But just the entry point of, of course.
Compassion.
I've got you.
Right.
I'm with you. I understand. Like whatever those words are for you, for me, there's like an of course moment, like a, of course you're feeling this. Of course this fear is coming up. Like, oh, this makes so much sense. And it's so innocent. Of course this protector's like, don't, you're going to get hurt. There's danger out there. Of course, so that is, one quick sort of entry point that I like. And then from there, we give it a voice. We allow it to speak. We allow it to express. And we really, for the somatic work of really actually letting the body moving it through the body. So really going into the sensations of the body, letting that feeling actually be felt on the level of the body, can move it so much faster than the mind ever can. And so
totally
just going in and going, oh, this feeling is tight, intense, and just naming it, it'll start to let it move. And so that's the attunement process of just allowing what is and meeting it all with love, meeting it all with acceptance, would be, that's sort of as we know, the foundational work of all of this. And then from there, then when we're in that space of, like the relief that comes from that, or, meeting God, meeting our essence, meeting our higher self that comes from that, then we move into, now, what am I here to create? How do I open to, this isn't just about me, Carrie, you, Megan, the human that's here to show up a certain way and be a certain way. This is about that light of your soul that's coming through you, the light energy that is moving through you. And actually, it takes so much work out of it to go, my work is to open and kind of step aside a little bit, like do the work, do what I need to do, declutter, like all of the things, get to this space where I can open and let it move through, allow it to move through me so that I can create, so that I can create what I'm here to create, express what I'm here to express, whatever that is. And so we sort of move through those levels of the foundational healing, reprogramming, reparenting, getting, really healing the wound into creation, into really embracing and embodying your light. And then it's, every level of that is a new level of healing. So it just gets to
and I love the scaffolding. Right.
Yes,
it's the scaffolding. I love it. The scaffolding nature of it, I think, is so key. And it's so important because inevitably you're going to get right to this right to the point of the healing where you're open to your light and to your essence and what do I really want, and actually putting that out into fruition and feeling really excited about it. But I know the feeling of inevitably the old wounds are going to come back up and say, you can't really do that. Or it's so, if you actually put yourself out there in that way, that is so cringy, and people are going to judge you and look at you and have criticism, and you're not going to feel safe. You're going to feel rejected, which all of these things totally bring all those wounds back to the surface. And so I love the scaffolding framework of, actually, no, right, the putting your hand on your heart and saying, oh, of course. Yes, of course
you're feeling that. And actually the freedom, and this really is one of the things that I'm really big on, is getting to the place within yourself that, when we say the criticism and all of that is so, it feels so unsafe, of getting to the place of such freedom that you can say, actually, rejection is safe.
Yeah. I love
Criticism is safe.
Yeah. Totally.
Being judged is safe. Like I am safe. And yes, it might hurt. And yes, I might not like it. And now I know how to come back home to myself and resource safety, in-source resource safety, so that all of those things can happen and I'm still safe.
Yeah.
So getting to that extreme of like even the worst rejection, is really one of the things that we are so scared of.
Of course.
Is safe. If that's safe, I'm free.
Right. Exactly.
I'm free.
Right? Totally.
I'm free. So someone hating me is totally safe.
It's okay.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm okay. I might feel, I might feel sad. I might feel hurt.
And
because
and because I know how now to hold myself through the hurt, to hold myself through all those hard feelings, I can say that that's safe,
right.
And that's
absolutely
the beauty in it, is the freedom in it.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
This framework, it's so beautiful. I like the way that you've described it. It's just so clear, right? It's so clear and so compassionate. It makes so much sense. And so I would love I know that you have this new program coming up. So please tell us all about it. I want everybody to learn more.
Yeah. So I have my 4-month women's group coming up, and it's called Holy Shift with a WH.
I love it so much. It's so good. It's such a great title.
Because it's just a whole shift. And it is, and this, like, again, to be whole is to be holy. So it's that, all the things, all the plays on words, but I love a good pun, but I also really feel this, meaning of this. And it really is 4 months of Earth School, of really like Earth School for our soul. Like, how do we clear the clutter and really step into allowance of that light to move through us? And it's a weekly group. We meet on Mondays, and it's like this. A lot of ladies ended up saying, well, this has become my church, right? Like this has become like this place to go to receive healing, grounding, clearing, and then learning and processing. And so that's what we, I move through my divine alignment framework, as well as the deep nervous system healing. And I do structure it through the chakra system as well, where we are going through each chakra and going, oh, this is related to our childhood ancestral patterns, where this one's more related to where we're not free to express, where, so we really do like specific work around each chakra. And in that 4-month time period, it's just really leading to our freedom. And then it's like that open to create at the end, sort of that. So it starts on September 15th.
Wow.
Yeah.
This sounds like such a beautiful program, where I think I love the combination, and that's why I've done programs this way too, of the learning of because I think, like, in my own therapy journey, right, that you're doing so much inside of session, but I'm someone who loves, I love to learn, right? Like, I love the concrete action. I love to learn what is happening and why. I know I'm feeling something, right? I'm having this experience, but what is, teach me what's happening underneath. Yes, I need that concrete information. So that's always been so important to me, to root in the programs that I do as well. So I love this. I think this is so great. And then to have this is my church, right? This is where I come every week to feel safe,
of it.
to feel connected, to feel seen. I mean, I cannot advocate for group program work enough, because having, again, seen it through my own programs, like the group aspect itself, literally, if all you do is show up every week, that has such a huge impact.
Yes,
truly.
Absolutely.
And so
it changes you. And it's such a component, as you know, of the healing, is to realize I can be safe in this circle, in this, in this space with others. It's also another layer of our healing as women, especially, that we get to do, and we've got to do.
Right.
And so
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. And then to just have it. So I love it too. Just like the learning, the cognitive understanding of what's actually happening in our systems.
Right.
And then the grounding it in, and, I'll do breath work as well and different ways to really bring it into the body. But we've got to hit it from every angle, as you know, spirit, mind, body, soul. Yeah. We've got to.
And this will be a virtual. Will this be a virtual group space?
Yeah, it's on Monday, really Monday evenings, and so California, PST is at 4:30 and then 7:30 Eastern.
Beautiful.
And essentially this weekly checkpoint with a few weeks off here and there, but this weekly checkpoint of healing and processing and relief.
Oh, I love it.
I love
this so much. And so we are going to include all the information on Carrie's group in the show notes. And I know that you have a special code for our listeners.
I do. For Good Girls Gotta Heal. Right. Yes. It's Heal 111. So Heal 111. Yeah. So for $111 off of the program. And
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So exciting.
And, all the details are there.
Are there. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. And we will link all of your information, your website, Instagram, all of that everybody can find you, because I imagine that in listening to this, everybody is going to want to connect with you further.
I would love to personally
a sister
connect.
Here to the Good Girls Gotta Heal community.
I would love to personally connect with anyone in your community.
Yes. So beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh.
The work that you do is so beautiful. And again, thank you for sharing your own story and your own healing journey, because it just informs so much of why you're a beautiful practitioner and why you are the person that can really support someone else, right, through their own healing work. Because I know I said earlier, right, people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves, and you have clearly met yourself so very deeply and are clearly such an important support for, I'm sure, everybody that you work with. So please check out Carrie's work. She has so much to offer. So thank you so much for being here,
it was
Carrie.
So beautiful to be with you.
Oh, thank you. And we will absolutely stay connected without a doubt.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Good Girls Gotta Heal. I am so grateful to have you in this community. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. That helps us out greatly. And we'll see you next time.